History is humanity's memory, but memory is far from perfect at times. It is shaped by simple misunderstandings, deliberate propaganda, or legends passed down from generation to generation. As a result, events that never actually happened can take root in our collective consciousness as truth. But what's more, these false narratives can become so powerful that they find their way into history books, films, and documentaries. Now, let's lift the curtain on some of the most famous events that millions around the world believe to be real, but that, in truth, never happened. Marie Antoinette's "let them eat cake" quote, perhaps one of the most famous royal phrases in history. If they have no bread, let them eat cake. For centuries, these words have been used as a symbol of the aristocracy's detachment from the common people, supposedly uttered by Queen Marie Antoinette of France. The problem, however, is that she never actually said them.
The phrase first appeared in Jean-Jacques Rousseau's 1766 work Confessions, where he attributes it to an unnamed young princess. This could not have been Marie Antoinette, as she was only 10 years old at the time and not even living in France. During the Revolution, growing hatred toward the Queen led to the quote being wrongly attributed to her. Newspapers repeated the story over and over to inflame public anger. In the end, a sentence that was never spoken became etched in collective memory as if it were the truth. 2. The claim that people in the Middle Ages believed the Earth was flat today. Many people assumed that in medieval Europe, the common belief was that the Earth is flat. However, this is another historical misconception. In reality, the educated class of the Middle Ages, especially church scholars, knew the Earth was round. This knowledge had been understood since ancient Greece. As early as the 3rd century BCE, Eratosthenes had calculated the Earth's circumference with remarkable accuracy. So, where did this false belief come from? In the 19th century, some writers such as Washington Irving romanticized Christopher Columbus's voyage to America as a battle against the flat Earth belief. This fictionalized narrative became popular and even made its way into school textbooks. In truth, the flat Earth myth was a creation of the modern era, not the Middle Ages. One of the most infamous symbols of terrifying medieval torture, the Iron Maiden. According to the popular story, this massive, human-shaped coffin, lined with sharp spikes on the inside, would trap the victim within, and when the door closed, the spikes would pierce their body. Or so we've always been told. In reality, the Iron Maiden never actually existed. The version displayed in the 18th century was nothing more than an old coffin combined with spiked mechanisms. Historically, it was never used in the Middle Ages. Instead, it was invented to create a kind of tourist horror. Museum curators and collectors promoted it as a genuine torture device to attract visitors. This fabricated tool was featured so often in movies and novels that, today, many people still believe it was real. 4. The myth of Napoleon's short height. The term Napoleon complex refers to the idea that short men are often aggressive and overly ambitious. This stereotype became widely associated with French Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte, but it's actually false. Napoleon's height was recorded as 5 feet 2 inches in French measurements. When converted to the English system, this equals roughly 1.69 meters, which was about the average male height of the time. The misconception arose from the difference between French and English measurement systems, as well as from the era's caricaturists. The British, eager to belittle their enemy, frequently depicted Napoleon as a dwarf standing next to towering soldiers. This propaganda eventually became accepted as historical fact. 5. The horned Viking helmet myth. In popular culture, Vikings are almost always portrayed wearing horned helmets. Movies, illustrations, and mascots have cemented this image in our minds. However, archaeological evidence clearly shows that Vikings did not wear horned helmets in battle. This false image was actually invented in the 19th century by artists designing costumes for Richard Wagner's opera Der Ring des Nibelungen. The goal was to create a more dramatic and barbaric appearance on stage. In reality, the horned Viking helmet we know today is nothing more than a theatrical invention from the 1800s.